Gonna fire up the pond today. Looks like the fish are all doing good still. There was 11 of them. I counted the other day when it was warm, all stacked up. We got the old man there and 10 other ones. There are mainly goldfish from the county fairs that we got, 2 inches big. Now they're what, 8, 10, 12 inches. So when I go in the winter, I put these pool noodles in the skimmer basket. So it doesn't freeze and crack. You can never get them down very deep, but this skimmer's been in here 10 years now. Let's see, 2016. I got rid of the old skimmer basket, cleaned everything out, all the gravel, and right on the liner I put an under gravel filter. There's a video of that somewhere. So now, this pump, flawless. I mean, this thing has been in here since 2016. No leaks. Performance Pro. Artesian Pro. There's your specs. I had a different skimmer with a submersible pump in here from 06 to 2016, or maybe it was 07. But every 2 to 3 years I'd have to put a $700 submersible pump in here. Probably bought 3 of those $700 pumps. I don't remember what this thing costs, but it hasn't missed a beat for almost 10 years. Just unbelievable. This thing will fill up with frogs and whatever. So in 2016, rather than just sucking from the skimmer, I put in the under gravel filter, which sucks from that tube right there. It's a grid thing. It's got a bunch of 1/8 or 1/4 inch holes drilled in the bottom of the 2-inch pipe I ran under the gravel. And then this one here goes over and sucks from the skimmer basket. So that one pulls water off the top, and then you got the under gravel that pulls it down and through that way. It is I'm really happy with this system. And for some reason I don't get quite nearly as much of the string algae as I used to, although I just scooped a big bunch out of here the other day. It was 70 degrees the other day. Alright, I'm going to pause this. My pump, I'm going to take that cover off. The pump sits on that pad right there and sucks from these two, and then it pumps it up and down underground. It goes underground all the way up this hill, and in the fall, all I do is take that apart right there and put my shop vac on it and suck all the water out of it. I did have the 3-inch freeze and crack through this area one year. I think I was trying to blow it out back then. Now I just suck it out with the shop vac until it doesn't suck any water, and I haven't had any problems. So let's get this hooked up. This thing, what's the name of this? I can't remember. It's, I'll have to figure that out. Over the winter, all I got is this bubbler here. Shoots 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch tube down. Not sure what I got on the end of that, but that keeps it open for most of the winter. I'm out here a couple times a year chopping a hole. You want somewhere for it to vent the gas from the leaves and stuff that are off gas and under the ice, or fish won't do well. So that's all I use for that, is the bubbler. And I'm going to put this together. I'm going to go get some Vaseline and lube up this O-ring on this cover that goes on there. And these O-rings here. There's one there. One there on our inlet, and then that one pumps up the hill. And then we got our auto water. We got the well here we kept that pretty much all we use the well for is to feed the pond with an auto feed float here, so I'll screw that on. And that water line just goes into the basement up here by the well tank. I just had to go look up this skimmer basket online. It's called a Helix pond skimmer. It's like $600. I think the website is the Pond Digger. You could probably get them elsewhere. The one complaint I have is that the filter that goes in the bottom of this to catch anything that gets by the basket at the top, if it gets plugged up, it's going to get sucked down in there. So I made this little cross thing to keep it from sucking up when I neglect the filter. It's the only thing I would recommend. I'm gonna get that put in there, go turn on my auto feed water because it's gonna go down the amount it takes to fill the rivers up here. Get this all put together. You do not want to use wrenches on those. I've done that before and cracked the fittings. Hand tight only on those deals. This guy here goes in there to hold the basket, your debris basket. And then this is what the water flows through. Alright, we're all hooked up, I hope. The auto feed's not feeding. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm going to plug it in. Takes a while for the pump to prime. Hopefully there's no ice in there. That water should start dropping once that pump primes. And then I'm either going to need to get a hose or get this thing feeding here. Either the lines froze, I didn't blow it out good enough last time, or this is plugged up right in this float thing here. I think there must have been some water in the line between here and the furnace room. Or between here and the house, yeah. I'm going to pause this until it starts going down. This is the first year I haven't hooked a shop vac to it and made sure air was blowing out the 2 outlets at the top. So hopefully we don't have any ice in that 3-inch line over there, right there, that's feeding up top. Because if that's plugged up with ice, or both of the top ones are frozen, then we got a problem. And I'm gonna just fry this pump here. So it's always a good idea to put a shop vac on that and blow through and make sure you're not frozen before you fire it up in the spring. The other thing I didn't do is prime the pump. So I'm gonna fill up those 2 lines, one going to the skimmer and one going to the under gravel filter. And if that doesn't get it going, then we got ice in the line. Actually, all that's doing is putting water back into the pond, so let me, yeah, it's just running out that 3-inch and going back into the pond and bringing the pond level up to the overflow, which is this little guy right here. Once that pond water gets up to there, it goes out that hole. I can't remember where that goes to. I think there's a pop-up over here in the corner of the yard. Yep, that's where that goes to. And we used to have our rain, we used to have a downspout here that would go into that. That's connected to that. All right, I'm gonna put that cover back on and see what happens here. I think she's going. There she goes. Yeah, I just needed to prime the pump. So that was my mistake. No ice in the lines. And you can see the bubbles coming over here. We got water going. That'll clear up once all the air is out of the lines. You'll just see water up against that cover. And here comes the rivers. But we're going to be running low on water here because we're filling up the rivers and the skimmer basket's going down. Oh, is auto feed working? Yep, we got a little trickle coming there. But we're going to be low on water here, and we'll only be sucking from the under gravel filter until that auto feed fills it up, unless I go get a hose. But I don't want to do that because we're going to have a couple cold nights here. Here comes the water. All the leaves and whatnot rushing out of the river. got a leak going on over here. That stuff wasn't lined up quite right. You see the water trickling out of the bottom of that deal. I think that's my only leak. So I gotta somehow tighten that. Remember, hand tight only on those, or you'll crack that. Looks like I got it. Yeah, with the ground moving in the winter, pipes move a little bit, pad maybe heaved up, I don't know, but oop, we're filling up the leaves over here. The water is cold. Either that line's froze or this is plugged up here somehow. I'm gonna go turn the water back on. Clearly it was something to do with this thing and not the water line. Oh, right there, it just fell out. There's a bunch of little beads or something in there. Yeah, that Helix skimmer is the way to go. Doesn't even compare to that old one I had that just sucked from the top, and that under gravel filter. The only thing you got to replace is these pads. They're like 22 bucks or something. I think I bought 3 of them in 10 years. And I still have all 3. This one's worn out. I got my good one in there. Alright. Pond. Just got to scoop these leaves out of here. And get her filled back up. Put the auto feed thing back together. And this should clear up in a day or so. Make sure I don't have any more leaks over there. Keep an eye on that. Bunch of debris in the river. My 3-inch feed that comes up here splits into 2 2s over there at the first river, first waterfall river, right over here. There's that first water line, so we must have a T right here in the ground somewhere that splits the 3-inch into this 2 and another 2, and that one pops out right here somewhere. Oh no, right here. You got a 2-inch elbow hooked onto it. Bunch of leaves, I'll grab them. And there it is, the full tour. I got to dig up all these cherry trees that came from seed, get something on them and yank them out of the rocks. They should have never been allowed to get this big. All through here. Came off of this tree here. Yep, got to get some more leaves down there. Scoop that out. We got this one stagnant spot in the pond here that always collects whatever. It'd be nice to have some jets, some side jets right here. That's the one thing I'm lacking, because all our water is just flowing straight through there, and we got this stagnant edge over here. Someday, if I'm bored, I'll tee into that 3-inch line which comes through here, or maybe I'll tee into it right over there, and then get smaller line. I can just maybe like a 1/2-inch line and drill some holes in it for some jetting. I'll bet you that would work. Looks like we're almost full. Couple more inches. Shut that water off, put the auto feed back in there. We're almost up to the overflow. I'm gonna empty that basket again. Alright. That's how you fire up the pond. Got the auto feed back together. Yeah, when I had that open over the winter, those little things must have got in there somehow. I don't know how. But you can see she's working real good now. The big question is, do I tip it down? See, now it's shut off. But we're still a couple inches from the overflow. Maybe I'll just tip it up just a hair. Won't take much pressure. It'll probably come up another 1/2 inch to 1 inch and shut off just before the overflow height here. So the only problem is this stagnant area right here. And when it warms up, we'll get our feeding tube or our feeding ring that keeps the floating pellet food from getting sucked into the skimmer. Alright, we're back in business. And that pump, that Artesian Pro, Performance Pro, Artesian Pro pump, 10 years. Hasn't missed a beat. It's rebuildable. Rather than getting that submersible pump that goes out, $700 pumps. I went through 3 of them in 10 years. Crazy. At least 3 of them. I don't remember. So what do we got? We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fish. I was missing one the other day when I count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And one of them's one of the original 10 from 2007 when we built this pond. He's been in here 18, that's 18 years. This summer. He will have been in here 18 years. That dude right there. Big fantail. He's the only one with the big fantail. Wow. And their life expectancy is 15. Unbelievable.